Welcome to What Matters Most. I'm Kristen
And I'm Maria.
from Experience Nirvana, and today we're going to be having on the show with us Susan PA, and she will be sharing with us information about the Akashic Records. Now, some of you may or may have not heard about them, but they may have something to do with if you've ever felt like you keep going through maybe a hardship in your life. Something like a reoccurring instance that you can't possibly, it feels like you just can't shake it. You kind of keep you keep dating the same kind of like a bad guy or a bad, the same kind of date, or something along those lines, and it's like a lesson that you keep reliving. It may have something to do with your Akashic Records.
Right. I think that what's interesting about it is knowing or having that awareness of exactly what the Akashic Records are.
Right.
You might be able to stop or maybe lessen the cycle of learning that particular lesson that keeps reoccurring based on what you have established that you want to learn or work through in this particular lifetime.
Right. The records are, from what I understand, and Susan can tell us more about that later, but from what I understand, it's almost as if a record or almost like a written plan for your upcoming life. So you decide what will be your goals or your agenda items for this life. What lessons will you have to learn? And so sometimes if you're on this path and you keep learning the same lesson, maybe it's because you haven't really learned.
Or you
it.
really haven't learned, or you keep experiencing
That's what I
the
mean.
same
That's
lesson.
exactly what I mean.
I can give you in a nutshell a situation that I encountered numerous times having to do with working in certain environments. I constantly was feeling that I was maybe being, people were treating me very harshly, and there was a lot of unhappiness associated with it, almost as if I was going through what I would consider a martyr type of environment, like where I was being persecuted for things, and I couldn't understand what this concept was all about and why they were doing this to me. And then in one of my past jobs while I was still in a corporate environment, suddenly one day the light bulb came on, or maybe I can say that I had the awareness that I needed to take action to do something to stop the cycle. And I can tell you that once I made that commitment, I realized, and I knew almost instantaneously, that I was never going to experience that again. I was done with that.
Really?
But it wasn't until I finally committed to the action that was needed and required
To stop
it.
Stop the
And
repetitive.
let me tell you something, it took me numerous years of experiencing this. I mean, I'm talking maybe 20 years repetitively having this life experience over and over again.
And it never occurred to you to take this action sooner.
I finally said to myself, okay, that's it. Come what may, this is what I'm going to do, because I know that when I take this action, my life will be better, and I have to be strong and committed to doing this. And once I did,
means leaving.
Right. Well, I knew
Was that what the action was?
No, the action was actually standing up for myself and reporting the negative behavior to an appropriate authority. And I was really quite fearful of that, because I was in fear that I would lose my position and my employment, and what would happen to me if that were to occur.
Right.
But once I actually committed to doing that, and I was still in very much a fearful mode. I mean, it certainly wasn't like, oh, I made this decision and then suddenly I went, oh, okay, it's fine. No, I did this with complete fear and terror, but knowing,
a little scared.
yeah, knowing that I needed to do that. But once I did it, I knew that I was no longer going to experience that life lesson. I just knew. So maybe it's that type of thing that you may have going on in your lifetime.
Right.
And so Susan will explain Akashic Records and how that has a relationship in your life, and maybe what you can do.
And maybe what we can do to actually try to connect with them ourselves. If you do want, to change them or do anything with them, you would approach someone like Susan, but maybe there's some ways that we can do something on our own too. So stay tuned. You're watching What Matters Most, and coming up next is Susan PA.